evening, you're watching Breaking Today News right here on Switch TV. I am Lincoln Wambugu. Our sign language interpreter is Michael Matthew. We have a lot in line for you tonight, but first let's take a look at the headlines.
Hai mmetuongezea mafuta, hata pesa yenye tunalipwa haitoshi. Lazima tuongeze, kama ni 70 tuweke ni 100. Yeah.
Kenyans to brace for higher Matatu fares as Matatu operators threaten to hike fare over new fuel prices.
Ubishi kati ya rais na naibu wake sio kitu ambacho tungependa tuone kikienea.
Pressure piles on Deputy President William Ruto to resign amid reconciliation talks between him and President Kenyatta. LSK President Nelson Havi files petition to stop the implementation of the competence-based curriculum.
You're watching, send in your feedback and comments to our SMS line 111 at Switch TV Kenya and at Lincoln Wambugu on all social media handles. You should brace to pay more fare after the Matatu operators' threat to implement a 20% increment on the different routes in Kenya. Matatu operators have justified this move as the only fair option as a result of the hike in fuel prices. And as Shilling-Atich reports, leaders across the political divide continue to voice their concerns, urging the government to consider reviewing the prices.
The pinch of the recent spike in fare is beginning to be felt by Kenyans following the hike in prices by some of Matatu operators who justify their move, saying it is a justifiable option.
Since our passengers have equally been affected, PSV operators are thus justified to increase fares by a moderate 10 to 20% depending on the route, type of operation, passenger demand and supply patterns.
Sai mmetuongezea mafuta, hata pesa yenye tunalipwa haitoshi. Lazima tuongeze, kama ni 70 tuweke ni 100. Yeah.
Sasa wakati gharama hii inaenda juu, inaleta utata hata wale vijana wa bodaboda.
With the hard economic times being faced, brought about by the COVID-19 pandemic, Kenyans are crying foul, saying that the cost of living is becoming unbearable.
Kama nalipwa shilingi 450 kwa siku, nikitoa 50 asubuhi, jioni nitoe 150, nimebaki na pesa ngapi?
Leo hii bei ya mafuta imepanda bei. Mimi nawaambia kama wanapenda hii Kenya, siku ya kesho wateremshe bei ya mafuta ambayo mwananchi wa kawaida anategemea yale mafuta.
As pressure continues to mount on the government to bring down the prices, NC party leader Musalia Mudavadi is now calling on the price review.
Of production imeenda juu. Kwa hivyo ni juhudi letu tutafute namna ya kusema lazima tupunguze cost of production.
Walete bill next week waangushe bei ya mafuta. Hiyo sisi wabunge 150 wenye tuko mlengo wa naibu wa rais tutaunga mkono kuhakikisha bei ya mafuta taa ya petroli imeshuka, mwananchi wa kawaida asiumie.
Now Kenyans will be forced to dig deeper into their pockets and bear the burden of the fuel price hike. Meanwhile, in the midst of this gloom, their hope is that of a fuel price review. Shilling-Atich, Switch TV, Nairobi.
Thank you, Shilling-Atich. ANC party leader Musalia Mudavadi has accused Deputy President William Ruto of double standards by praising the successes of the Jubilee government while at the same time bashing its failures. According to Mudavadi, the greatest solution to the rift is by having the Deputy President resign from office before the conflict slowly escalates to the people. And as Daniel Kariuki reports, these sentiments are coming days after the charge called on the two, President Kenyatta and his Deputy William Ruto, to reconcile. Take a look.
Years after the differences between the president and his deputy became transparent to the public, especially after the 2017 general elections, the ANC party boss has weighed in on the matter, allaying his fears of an escalation of the conflict to other arms of the government.
Ubishi kati ya rais na naibu wake sio kitu ambacho tungependa tuone kikienea. Itatoka kwa wale wakubwa, itaingia kwa mawaziri kulingana na vile wanaegemea, alafu itaingia kwa permanent secretaries kulingana pahali wanaegemea, na hatimaye itaingia kwa public service.
The public exchanges that are being witnessed are dangerous for the prevailing peace and tranquility in the country and cannot be taken lightly.
According to Mudavadi, the resignation of the DP would be the quickest way to solve the conflict, further accusing the deputy president for double standards by praising the successes of the Jubilee government at the same time bashing its failures.
Hii umekuwa ubishi wa kihistoria. Lakini kwa kawaida katika taifa zingine ikiwa hawasikizani, mmoja ni lazima angesema basi mimi najiuzulu. Huwezi kuambia boss wako atoke, sasa itakuwa yule mwingine ndio anatoka.
I have no idea what has transpired, except for the fact that probably he is trying to create a base for him and for his future politics, which is his right. I have never denied him that, and he's free to do so. But I feel it is unfortunate that maybe the manner in which he is doing it, by going against the same government that he's serving, I think is wrong. You don't confuse people, you know. You know, on the one hand, you want to sing the praises of a government, that you are saying that, yes, you know, this is, we have done, and you want to ride on them. But yet on the other side of your mouth, you're talking another language.
The genesis of the conflict, Deputy President William Ruto accuses ODM leader Raila Odinga of igniting it after the popular 2018 handshake.
Huwezi kuja kutoea serikali ambayo wewe hukuunda. Ama namna gani? Si waende watafute. Vile tulienda kutafuta. Na watatukuta huko tukitafuta pia.
The clergy has since expressed hope that the two leaders would come to an understanding for peace to reign in the country as the country gears towards the 2022 general elections.
President and the deputy president are not reading from the same script. It affects me directly as a minister.
The president today, back then, saw the need to reach out and took to have a political relationship with Dr. William Ruto. I honestly believe it can be done this time round.
Catholic leaders have since offered themselves to mediate between the conflict, even as Deputy President William Ruto openly anticipates the reconciliation proceedings. Daniel Kariuki for Switch TV News.
Thank you, Daniel Kariuki. Still on matters politics, Deputy President William Ruto has asked members of parliament to stop wasting time and resources debating on issues which have no direct impact on the lives of Kenyans. The Deputy President has further urged the legislators to focus on legislation that has direct benefit to ordinary citizens, adding that there was no need for the legislators to continue to discuss ways of changing the constitution to create positions for few individuals at the expense of service delivery to millions of Kenyans. He noted that there were several bills in Parliament, including the NHIF bill, that needs urgent attention from the legislators if the universal health coverage was to be attained across the country.
Wamepeleka bunge, sijui wanataka kutengeneza kiti gani, sijui vyeo gani. Mimi nataka niwaambie wabunge wa Kenya, wawache kupoteza muda ya wananchi wakiongea mambo ya mamlaka.
Wananchi wote wakachagua Jubilee from Murang'a to Bungoma with a promise that there are some deliverables they were to deliver to the people of Kenya. The president himself talked about something that was called Big Four agenda. Hapo katikati kukakuwa wageni, wakakuja wakatapeli sisi, wakanyakua nyumba yetu na wakapotea nayo.
President, kaa ukijua kwamba wakati tunaingia kwa kura 2022, don't look beyond these leaders. We are here. These leaders will walk with you. We are going to work with you. And we are going to deliver the 1.1 million votes in Kakamega and the 900,000 votes in Bungoma. We will deliver because of these people.
Bas nyinyi raia, nyinyi ndio mnaamua mahali kura inaenda ama namna gani? Na raundi hii tunaona wale watu hawajawahi kuwa kwa meza ya kugawanya ndio watakuwa kwa meza raundi hii. Wale wamekuwa huko wakae backbench, wagawiwa hata hawasikie utamu wa kugawiwa ama kutogawiwa.
LSK President Nelson Havi has filed a petition in court challenging the rollout of the competency-based curriculum CBC. The petition seeks an interim order to stop the CBC pending hearing and determination of the case. This comes after Education Cabinet Secretary Professor George Magoha reaffirmed that CBC is here to stay. Our reporter Sazamunga files a report.
4 years into the implementation of the competency-based curriculum, transition from 844 system to the 2663 education system is being marred with a lot of controversies, with parents feeling the pain of the cost and time used for a lesson to be learned. Following this, the president of Law Society, Nelson Havi, has today filed a petition challenging further implementation of CBC, urging the court to make a declaration that KICD and NEC acted in contravention of the law by purporting to overhaul the system of basic education. In a quick rejoinder, dismissed by Professor George Magoha, the CS is adamant that the sector was on the right trajectory by focusing on skills and competencies of learners from other ranking and cutthroat competition that has been at the center of the sector for long.
The government of the Republic of Kenya, under His Excellency's leadership, Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, in its wisdom, started this CBC for the benefit of our children, for today's generation and the coming generation. If you want facts, you will find them. If you have any other contrary facts, give them to us.
It is on record a section of political leaders and stakeholders continue faulting the new curriculum, terming it as hurriedly implemented without proper public participation, as well as having teachers adequately trained. With the back and forth in the education sector, today an appeal has been forwarded to the courts, with parents now waiting patiently, hoping that the ruling will work in their favor. Reporting for Switch TV, my name is Sazamunga.
Thank you, Sazamunga. Now, this is just the tip of the iceberg on what we have prepared for you on our weekly edition of Bunge la Mwananchi with Majibu Kitsao after a short commercial break. Stay tuned.
Huyu deputy, huyu bibi ya Uhuru ameonyesha tabia mbaya sana, sababu ameolewa na bwana mwingine anaitwa UDA.
Tukaona wale ambao walikuwa wanaenda nyume naye, walikuwa wanaenda Bakungu, wanapigwa tear gas, wanaenda Kitui, wanaketishwa kwa mchanga. Niambie, je,
maridhiano ya kwanza kati ya Rais Uhuru Kenyatta na Kinara Raila Odinga hayakuwa na manufaa yote?
Haina manufaa yote, na ikiwa ipo, njoo utuambie hapa kwa utaratibu ni gani. Kama si kisirani ya kutumia more than 20 billions kuleta kisirani ya BBI hapa na
welcome back and thank you for keeping it Switch TV. As an estimated 2.1 million Kenyans face starvation due to drought in close to half of the country, Kenya Red Cross Secretary General Dr. Asha Mohammed says the drought could persist until next year due to predictions of low rainfall in the remainder of the year. Dr. Asha has therefore urged farmers to shift from cultivating crops that are dependent on heavy amounts of rainfall and instead shift to drought-resistant crops in order to prevent the massive loss of life and livestock through drought.
How to adapt to the effects of drought and climate change in general. For example, should we be looking at maybe having different kinds of livestock that can withstand the drought situation? Or should that be something that maybe we should be looking into and advising communities, educating them that yes, you can still keep animals because that is very important, but you can keep another breed which can withstand these kind of conditions. For the farmers, should you be growing maize year in, year out when you know that maize actually requires a lot of water? Is it possible to grow cassava?
Meanwhile, 795,000 Pfizer vaccines have been received in the country from the United States at the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport. These vaccines are expected to inoculate at least 500 people weekly as the country aims to vaccinate 60% of its population against COVID-19. Harriet Chimer with more details.
795,000 Pfizer doses out of the expected 1.4 million vaccines have been received in the country. The Pfizer boost that is stored at high temperatures of up to 70 degrees will be distributed across the 9 regional stores, which include Nairobi, Nyeri and Kakamega, and later redistributed to facilities equipped with cold chain freezers.
And with these consignments, we now have received a total of over 6.3 million doses of assorted vaccines. During the last 3 weeks, the Ministry of Health has really been at the forefront and working closely with the counties to ensure that we have trained over 3,000 health workers who will be undertaking these vaccinations and who are designated in the various vaccination points across the country.
Health PS Susan Mochache has also emphasized that online registration should be done first before inoculation. Meanwhile, Kenya is mobilizing more vaccines and has paid for 13,300,000 Johnson & Johnson doses that continue to trickle in. The government adding that they have no doubt that the take-up of vaccines will be high. A different scene was evident at the bus station in Nairobi after matatu operators turned out in low numbers owing to the nature of their work. With 3,290,450 people vaccinated, 444 people have today tested positive, with 4 people succumbing to the virus, while 700 having recovered. Reporting for Switch TV, my name is Harriet Chimer.
Thank you, Harriet Chimer. Now, a section of Kenyans now say at no point will the president agree to mend the current differences with his deputy William Ruto, despite him extending a hand of truce to his boss. On our weekly edition of Bunge la Mwananchi with Majibu Kitsao, a section of them have asked the two leaders to come together for the betterment of the country. Take a look.
Wakenya wengi wanasafa.
Tunajua pesa ni mingi Kenya, lakini iko kwa mifuko ya wachache.
Uchumi wa nchi unazorota. Nchi ni yetu sote.
Welcome to Bunge la Mwananchi. I am Majibu Kitsao. Well, Deputy President William Ruto has extended a hand of truce to his boss, the president, saying he's ready to bury the hatchet without any conditions. Well, will the president heed to all these calls? And if he does, will it affect the handshake he had previously with ODM leader Raila Odinga? Or in other words, will it shake the ground in which they stood at? And again, is the DP begging for reconciliation? To best answer all these questions, our members of the Bunge la Mwananchi, kindly join me.
Hakuna kitu kama handshake baina ya mtu anaitwa Uhuru na Ruto. Naona tangu 2018 up to now Uhuru amechange mpaka kanona. Ukimwangalia leo unaona is another person. Ukweli anakaa kama rais. Amenona na amekomaa akili. kwa sababu hakuna mtu wa kumsumbua. Kwa hivyo
hakutawahi tokea maridhiano kati ya Rais Uhuru Kenyatta na naibu wake William Ruto.
Ni nani ambaye amekosea mwingine? Hapo hakuna mtu ambaye amekosea mwingine. Hiyo story ambayo natasema, naomba radhi tu kwa kina mama. Huyu amekuwa kama vile kina mama wanasemanga, bwana ndugu yangu, nitaenda kwetu, unajua mimi naenda kwetu,
Sasa lakini hatoki nyumbani.
Anaweza toka atatoka aje? Na kama yeye ni mwanaume enough atoke.
Hivyo sasa vile unasikia Ruto anasema nataka tusalimiane, ni kuonyesha Ruto wako na akili sana, kwa maana Ruto anaangalia mambo na jambili. Unajua sasa watu wanapiga kelele, wanasema ati huyu takata anakuwa na ukali namna hiyo. Ni ngumu sana watu kupata kiti ya urais. Hata ukiangalia kutoka past wale wamekuwa na ukali mwingi namna hiyo, inakuanga gumu sana. Yeye anataka kunyenyekea, aonyeshe watu wa Central, mimi sina ubaya na nyinyi.
Mtu yoyote ambaye anadhania ama akona dhamira kwamba Uhuru anaweza fanya maridhiano na Ruto, huyo mtu ni adui wa nchi, ni adui wa maendeleo na ni adui wa amani. Kwa sababu gani? Kipindi ya kwanza first term ya Uhuru na Ruto ilikuwa serikali ya community ngapi? Mbili, serikali ya Mkalenjin na Mkikuyu. Maendeleo ilikuwa inaenda Central na Rift Valley. Handshake ndio imeleta maendeleo kusambaza Kisumu, Mombasa, Ukambani, kila mahali. Handshake ndio imeleta.
Na usije ukadanganywa na mtu. We are not at war. Neither hatuja experience at genocide ati walikuwa na salimiana juu. Ilikuwa manufaa yao. Na ikiwa walitaka kuonyesha Wakenya handshake ya kwanza ilikuwa ya amani, mbona wakamtenga? Deputy President alitengwa. Tukaona wale ambao walikuwa naenda nyume naye, walikuwa naenda Bakungu, wanapigwa tear gas. Wanaenda Kitui, wanaketishwa kwa mchanga. Niambie, je,
maridhiano ya kwanza kati ya Rais Uhuru Kenyatta na kinara ODM Raila Odinga hayakuwa na manufaa yote?
Haina manufaa yote, na ikiwa ipo, njoo utuambie hapa kwa utaratibu ni gani. Kama si kisirani ya kutumia more than 20 billions kuleta kisirani ya BBI hapa na watu wanakufa ni corona.
We do not have chaos. We do not have economic disparities. We do not have hatred. We do not need another handshake.
But
because
we are currently experiencing tough economic times. Look at the fuel prices.
I agree with you, that is the situation. But this is not the agenda that Ruto is bringing at the table so as to have this handshake. He is pursuing his own egocentric interest, and what we are saying is that as the youth of this nation, we cannot allow that. The country is stable and we cannot assist someone to pursue his own selfish interest. Therefore, we do not need another handshake.
Kwa saa hii hatuoni vita, hatuoni msukosuko yoyote. Sasa hii maridhiano tunashangaa ni nini anaitisha saa hii. Kitu ya pili ni
kwamba unajaribu kusema kwamba nchi kwa sasa ni tulivu kutokana na uhasama kati ya Rais Uhuru Kenyatta na naibu wake.
Mimi sioni shida yoyote. Ni swali tu nilikuwa najiuliza kwamba saa hii alikuwa shatengeneza UDA. Sasa akirudi tena pande hii nyingine, UDA atawasia nani? Na kuna watu wanamhitaji kule UDA.
Asante. Ni swali hilo ameuliza. Endapo atasalimiana na Rais Uhuru Kenyatta, ameunda chama cha UDA, akitoka kule ataachia nani chama cha UDA?
Huyu deputy, huyu bibi ya Uhuru ameonyesha tabia mbaya sana, sababu ameolewa na bwana mwingine anaitwa UDA. Na UDA anamleta kwa nyumba, kwa ile nyumba bedroom ya yule bibi bwana wake ameolewa. Hajatoka Jubilee. Mpaka wa leo pesa anakatwa ile ya Jubilee na uwanga anakatwa ya chama. Kutoka Jubilee ni kuresign.
So mimi handshake yangu na ya Uhuru na Ruto sioni ikikam. Asante.
Haiwezi jira wakati wote kabisa. That's all we had for you from Bunge la Mwananchi. I am Majibu Kisao. Many thanks to all those who made this conversation a success, all those who contributed. Camera person has been Francis Kariuki. Till next time, stay safe.
Uchumi wa nchi unazorota. Nchi ni yetu sote.
Many thanks for staying with us. It's a good day for sports. My name is Cedric Oronje. Now, to start us off, now after successful hosting the World Athletics Under-20 Championship Kenya is set for the Kip Keino Continental Tour kick-off tomorrow at the Moi International Sports Complex, Kasarani. All eyes are set on the big names in town, including US sprinter Justin Gatlin and Kenya's Ferdinand Omanyala. However, Olympic 1500 meters gold medalist Faith Kipyegon has expressed her joy of competing on home soil.